Welcome to One in the Shibal with Susie and Ed.
We're just two Asian Americans talking shit about shit. What was that?
This bone is finally Archie's appropriate sized.
Look how tiny it is now. See? It is a regular sized bone. Ew.
It only took
2 months?
9 weeks.
2 months? 2.5 months? How are you, Ed? How's your week been? How's it been? How's it been?
What if we just did a whole episode where
Oh
we
my
just...
God, I know. I'm so out of my mind right now. How was your week, Ed?
It was okay. It was interesting. You know, weeks are interesting sometimes.
I feel like this intro is just going to shit. I feel like we should start over.
No, it wasn't bad. I had to deal with something where someone like twisted something that happened to me in a very despicable way. So that was a little interesting.
It was despicable.
Other than that, and then dealing with comments of people being like, "Oh, the acting," and I'm like, "That's really gross." But other than that, it's been an interesting week. I have this thing tonight for that movie,
which you haven't talked about, promoted, or like even mentioned to anybody.
I said it to Ron yesterday, but I think I was like so embarrassed by my performance that I didn't want anyone to know. Because, you know, people can be ruthless, but when I saw it at the original screening, it got like the second or third hardest laugh, one of my lines. So I was like, oh, I was like, maybe it wasn't. I was like, it wasn't great. I was like, I didn't understand the concept of like overacting for the camera. Mm-hmm. And of course, for some reason, I just, the camera put on like 50 pounds. It was all in my face.
Maybe it was the length of your hair. You say that always affects how you look.
No, I think I was like doing this. So there was just this like...
I hate it when I do that. Yeah. I'm like, why have I not figured that out yet? Some my videos, I'm like, why?
I don't know either.
Oh my God. Yeah. Fucking dummy.
But, so yeah, that's a big reason why. But yeah, it's going to play at the Chinese Man Theatre, which... That's not a nothing. Yeah, that's like it's actually huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal. They've had
it's like the most well-known
movie
biggest,
theater
like, movie
ever.
Theater
like that's it's a landmark. Like it's not like nothing.
Yeah. So
it's not like some like private cinema with 30 seats. You know what I mean? Like it's a big fucking deal.
So I'm gonna go just so I can see my face on this big screen in the Chinese Man Theater.
Yeah, you told me yesterday. You told me yesterday.
Yeah, I was like,
that it's today.
Oh, by the way.
And I have my schedule books up really quick, really fast. He's like, oh, it's tomorrow. I was like, it's tomorrow? God damn it. So, well, I wish you the best of luck. Thanks. I'm sure it's going to be received very, very well. And, you know, I think it's... You know, it's listen, I'm the biggest fucking hypocrite when it comes to self-promotion. I'm the worst at it. I'm the worst at it.
It feels so uncomfortable.
It feels uncomfortable. And I feel like no matter how authentic whatever it is I'm promoting is, I'm like, am I faking it? You know what I mean? Like, oh God, does it feel fake? Does it feel too forced? Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? Like, you question everything and you feel it can make you feel so silly.
Yeah, and maybe there was like a small little percentage where I was like nervous that people were gonna be like, "Oh, this is why you're pretending to do all this stuff." And it's like, no,
because you're like a secret actor.
Yeah. You know, like, but like that's not even how it happened. Are you a secret actor? No, that's not even how it happened. My friend asked me to like help edit, and then at the last minute he was like, "Oh, would you mind being in the movie?" And I was like, I don't know how to say no.
Here's my writer. Here's my contract. Sure, no problem.
Yeah. But mostly it was like, I don't know how to say no to people because I'm a people pleaser. And next thing I knew, I was like, I feel so uncomfortable.
And cut.
Yeah.
And action. That's so cool, though. That'll be fun. I hope it's a good experience for you.
Yeah.
And who knows? It could turn into an acting career.
Maybe. We'll probably.
You never know. Who knows? Life is so strange.
That's not my goals, but maybe.
Okay. Well, good.
I wouldn't say no because I don't know how.
There are a lot of people who don't know how to act who do just fine. I could name a few, but I won't.
Not James Earl Jones, who passed away. I know, that was so sad.
Darth Vader?
Darth Vader? What?
I know, it's Darth Vader.
Oh, Vader. I was like, what?
God, I mean, he's been in a million things. I mean, that voice is just like iconic. Like you can't escape. Like,
yeah. It was actually really funny. I watched a video this morning. Well,
This
it wasn't
is
funny.
CNN. Is that him?
I don't think so.
No.
But it was like the different generations of people, and it was like,
Oh, how they know him?
yeah. There's like Gen X was like, oh, he was hilarious and like Coming to America, and like Boomers or whoever was like, oh no, he was like in Star Wars. He was like, Darth Vader.
Boomers.
Maybe it wasn't Boomers.
Gen X.
Maybe it was someone said Coming to America.
Yeah.
And then one of the generations was like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then millennials were like, oh, but he was Mufasa.
Oh, yeah.
And then like Gen Z came in and they were like, what did you guys expect? He's like 100. And all of them hit the Gen X guy. It was kind of funny.
It's true. It's true. He was like 93.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
I don't think there's only maybe a handful of voices that are as recognizable as James Earl Jones's voice.
Yeah. Apparently he also gave permission to Disney to use AI to continue using his voice for Darth Vader so that it lives on forever.
That is so cool. Now I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
What a lovely thing to give
I just hope
the
they kind of
world.
give him like some money before instead of
like a prepayment plan.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, thank you.
Here's $8 million for future works because we're going to exploit the shit out of this AI permission that you just gave us. No, I think they would use it judiciously. I think they know like how well respected and renowned he is, and I hope that they would obviously.
The whole thing though is like pretty full circle because remember in the first movie, it was like some other guy in the suit.
I'm not being rude. I just need to know who does this is CNN.
Who in the first Star Wars movie it wasn't James Earl Jones in the suit, and then they like casted him after they filmed it to just do the voice. And it wasn't until it premiered that the guy in the suit was like, what the? That's not my voice.
He was the voice of CNN.
He is the voice of CNN?
Yes.
Whoa, really?
I love being right.
I didn't.
Well, it's the best.
Honestly, I didn't even know what you were talking about.
Because this is CNN. And that's him.
That is James Earl Jones.
Yeah. He has a great, you know what I think also
will forever be the man in the sky.
He has a great laugh too. His laugh is so good. Yeah. And have you ever seen, there were episodes of The Big Bang Theory, which I know is like a super problematic show looking back, but he was on a couple episodes and he was really funny too. Have you seen them? He's so funny. Like I guess Sheldon obviously is obsessed with, Star Wars and stuff, and he like meets. Yeah, he plays himself, and he's just really cheeky and funny. And it was just like a side of him that you don't normally see because you consider him to be so serious because of that voice. But he was really cute in that, and I always remember that. Love that guy.
He just has such a recognizable voice.
We lost a great one. That's sad.
Yeah, rest in peace. But other than that, how was your week?
Fine. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
I changed my schedule a little bit. So I usually work out at like 8 a.m. after the girls are off to school. But because life is getting increasingly crazier and I have more and more responsibilities, I've had to shift my workouts to 6 a.m. so that I'm home before the girls even leave for school. And it is an adjustment. Waking up.
When did you start?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit.
I've been trying to like acclimate, and there are some days that are easier than others, especially depending on like what the day before was like. And yesterday was insane. I had like such a crazy day. And so then when I woke up this morning, it was like I wake up at like 5:05.
Have you been going to sleep earlier then?
No, I can't really go to sleep earlier because the girls have, volleyball, and then when we get home, dinner and homework, and then
go to sleep early. You'd be going to sleep at like
if I went to sleep any earlier, I'd be asleep now. It's like,
here's dinner.
So no. So getting your body to adjust to a new schedule, especially when it's on the earlier side, like I get up, like the sun is not up. It is quiet as hell. It's actually nice too, though. To like open my front door and have it be like dark. It's just like totally quiet. Like there's nobody around.
That's the stuff you tell yourself to be like, this is good. I'm okay.
Well,
I'm okay.
But also one of the things that really stresses me out is that like my classes start like on the hour and I have to drive from here all the way to the west side. And that, depending on the time, like if I'm driving at like 7 o'clock to get to an 8 o'clock class, sometimes it can take me like 45 minutes.
Holy shit.
And, like, I'm like late because there's so much traffic. But at 5 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody around. I get there in not even 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Traffic starts at like 7.
It's so early, and like the stress of that alone can like really like ruin my morning. So not having to deal with that. So I think I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. It'll be fine. I prefer it. Like getting home by 7 o'clock in the morning and having that out of the way is a big accomplishment by then.
Yeah, from that angle, from when you wake up at 5 a.m., you're like,
fucking shit. It's so early, but
how much earlier are you waking up then?
So
you're still waking up pretty early, right?
Like an hour.
Oh, an hour's a lot.
An hour's a long time. An hour's a lot. That especially when you consider, But it's okay. I like it. I'm gonna keep going and see how it goes and see if it works for me.
I used to get up at like 4:30, 5 a.m. to get to work by like 6:37 on the west side, and oh my god, that was.
I know.
I like look back on those days and I'm like, how did I?
I know.
What?
I know. But I'm also dealing with a whole new thing, entering into motherhood of a teenager.
Preteen?
Well, she'll be 13.
Oh, she's going to be a teenager.
She'll be 13 in 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
I know, my baby. So my daughter plays volleyball, which I know you all know.
What?
And there's a girl on her club team who is 12. And if you looked at her, you'd think she was at least 16. And she's very mature. And she's been telling my daughter and her friend how she's been sneaking out at night to meet boys and like make out with them on the beach. And that has me fucking freaked out. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm fucking freaking out. Now, my daughter is incredibly responsible, really conscientious, super self-aware. Like she gets it. But she's also a teenage girl.
She doesn't know anything.
Who wants to like impress people, and she wants the people that she thinks are cool to think that she's cool, but like what even is cool, and is it cool to be like I don't do that, or is it not? So I'm trying to help her like navigate that, but like it's just I don't know, it's just like a new phase, and as your child develops and changes, you as a parent also have to adjust and adapt and change, and so I'm trying to evolve too as a mother. And understand how she's feeling, but it's a different world that she lives in that I grew up in. But then again, when I was growing up, I didn't have that kind of relationship with my parents, so I could go. Like she came up and told me some stuff, last night about how she was feeling about this friendship with her new friend, and we talked about it. And it was definitely something I couldn't have done, with my parents. Like I didn't have like an open relationship where I could talk about like my feelings, or like, Mom, there's this girl and she's 12 and she's making out with boys. Like. I don't think I could tell her that now, Yeah. Like it just wasn't part of it's just not how our relationship, it didn't work that way.
Right.
Like we're still close, but I don't know. There were just some topics that were just kind of taboo in my house,
Yeah, maybe it was like an Asian thing too, or maybe it was the times, I don't know, but it was a very much like, you're the child, I'm the adult, you listen to me.
Well, right. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about like how differently a child and a parent have grown up, I mean, my parents grew up so differently than the way I grew up. And my daughter's growing up in a different way than I'm growing up.
Right.
But I think the difference between my daughter and myself is far more similar than myself and my parents. I mean, by far. Right. So I'm having to learn how to parent my daughter. And I guess as a parent, you try to parent your kids, if you're trying to be conscious of that, parent your kids in the way you had hoped you had been parented. Right. So, I try to do that, and I really try to give them, as much the security to feel safe to tell me these things. Just like melting.
The one thing you're really good at is like guiding people to like come to their own conclusions, which I feel like is a very good way to parent. I don't understand yet.
Well, I think if you do that, I think if you let your kid come to their own conclusions with your guidance, it doesn't feel like you're lecturing them. It doesn't feel like you're telling them what to do or that they're wrong. Because if that's
not even just in parenting. That's like a very good coaching. Yeah.
Right. I'll say, well, so what makes you think that? Or like, how do you think that could be different? Or if you did that, do you think the outcome would change? Or like, and she's just like, oh, I don't know. Maybe if I did do that in a different way, it could have been different. Or maybe if I said this in a different way, the outcome might have been different. You know what, Mom? I think maybe from now on, I'm going to try to say things in this more effective way. And I'm like, I think that's a great idea. Versus like, you should say things like this.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? And autonomy for kids is such an important thing.
Everything.
It's everything.
That's the one thing they don't have.
They don't have that. Even when they were little, I would give them choices. I wouldn't say this is for dinner and that's that. I would say we're having either this or that. And then making them come to the consensus together. That was actually the most challenging. Oh, what is it?
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening, but
I like it. I like it so much. But yeah, so... And also, my father was definitely much more strict growing up, and my daughters have a father that they can always go to, and they very much understand that. And I think that is such an important aspect of parenthood when girls have a male figure that they can go to, that they can feel safe around and to really express themselves really, around. Yeah. And
there's like nothing to rebel against if you have...
That's what I'm hoping. I'm really hoping because, that rebellious phase is scary, especially now. Fuck, like the internet, like Jesus Christ, so scary. And like, I don't know. Maybe I should stop listening to all those fucking true crime fucking podcasts.
No, I feel like you should though, because some of those things like you only need to happen one time.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I just listened to one. I had to turn it off because it was so upsetting about this man who like, I can't even talk about it. It was awful. What he did anyway.
But like, even if you do shield them, raise them right, anything can happen.
Right. Well, I have to raise them in a way that they are aware of the world around them, but not make them so they're afraid of it, but also so that they are cautious as they enter the world. You know what I mean? Like the balance is very delicate and it is so complicated. Right, Archie? It's so complicated. He's melting.
Yeah. The world is a weird place. And I don't know if it was like a different time, but 12 was a very pivotal year in my life.
Same.
That's where like I feel like 12 was like the age that I like lost actually all of my innocence, all in the same year. Like drank for the first time, smoked a cigarette for the first time, smoked weed for the first time, sold weed for the first time, lost my virginity.
At 12?
At 12, yeah. All of that happened.
You lost your virginity at 12?
I lost my virginity at 12. I was one of those kids.
Oh, God.
I was like about to move and yeah, it was just.
I don't want to get into too much detail. Was she also 12?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's better.
Not really. It
was like 16 or something.
I wasn't like taking advantage of no, for sure. But
not great, but
I look at 12-year-olds now and I'm like, oh, that's gross.
See, like I had a friend when I was 12.
You're a child.
And she was having sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never seen a penis. I don't know what penises even look like. I feel really like uneasy about this. And this is what I told my daughter. And I would like try to act like I did. I was like, oh yeah, penises. I'm very familiar with them. I see them all the time.
yeah.
Because I just didn't want to seem like a nerd or like a prude or whatever.
Right.
But that wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, and so like I'm trying to impart those lessons that I didn't have. So I told my daughter, I said, if you ever have to come out of your character to impress somebody, they are not somebody worthy of impressing, because you need to have them know you fully. And if they don't like you for who you are, fuck them for real. Like who fucking cares? And like growing up, I had, these friends and they were all very fast friends. And when I say fast, I mean like they were all having sex before.
Fast. Yeah.
We were 12, 13, 14 years old. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 16. And
which is normal,
which is pretty average. Even
kind
still
of young. Yeah.
I still think that's very young.
It is. When people are like, oh, I didn't lose my virginity until I was like 18, 20.
Great.
I'm like, that sounds
you're
normal.
a little bit, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not a judgment for anybody that does.
No,
I mean,
but
obviously,
it's just like you don't know.
But I mean, let's be honest. As a child, your development from one year to the next is a very big difference. Like the difference between like being 26 to 27 is very different than 14 to 15.
Right.
You know, so I just ran in this circle of girls that were all so much more advanced in so many ways. And so like I wasn't ready to like be sexually active. So I would do other things to make them think I was cool. I would steal makeup. I would steal cigarettes. I would be the person who went out and bought the weed because I was like, I gotta make up for it. I gotta distract. I'm not having sex, but I have a joint. I have a joint, so we can do that. That's cool. You think that's cool, so like me for that. You know what I mean? And I would just do stupid shit because I just wanted to be accepted. But then that, again, plays into so many other things about why we had to feel accepted in our childhoods because I was the only Korean girl in that group, you know, until I, you know, met my other friend in high school.
But it wasn't even just the fact that you were just Korean. I feel like if we had some sort of guidance.
Yeah.
And making us feel comfortable in our skin,
right?
We wouldn't feel the need to impress other people,
right? You know, being the child of immigrants in a community where everybody else wasn't, and to not have even just like, you know, my parents were working all the time, and they worked an hour away from where we lived, and they were always my parents were always together, and so we were, you know, so that I didn't have that like structure of like, come home from school, be with my parents. They were, you know, have to, you know, it wasn't that. It wasn't this like schedule, this like tight schedule. I think because of that, I just was like, what can I do? What can I get into? You know, and I was always getting in trouble. I was always fucking getting in trouble because I was like, I don't know how to navigate this. This feels crazy. Yeah. There are all these boys here and I don't want to have sex with any of them. So I'm gonna do drugs.
Yeah, I mean that's like a lot of the troubled kids, or you know, quote unquote troubled kids. A lot of times, like people always like it's that trope about like, oh, the divorced parents or whatever it is, but it's that point. It's the fact that like the kids, for whatever circumstance, are left to navigate the world by themselves, and at that age, you don't know anything,
right?
Not enough to be making those type of adult decisions.
Of course. And that was my thing, right? These boys would be like trying to have sex with these 13-year-old girls. I'd be like, I'm not going to have sex with you, but I will go smoke cigarettes. They're like, that's cool. I was like, okay, cool. Let's go do that instead. Like anything. I just don't want to do that, you know? So, and I think my daughters hopefully can see. And also there was a language barrier between my parents and I. You know, I didn't speak fluent Korean because I was always speaking English.
Right.
And so there were things that I didn't really even know how to say, like, Mom, I think my, you know, pubescence is, you know, entering a phase where I may be entering a state where my peer pressure might be, I might succumb to peer pressure.
I don't think any 12-year-olds at any stage in the history of the world.
But, you know, but having that deficit in language also really inhibited my ability to like have the guidance that I needed from my parents.
And from their side too.
Sure. There was frustration from them.
I didn't have a sex talk with my mom.
Of course not.
No, I learned the word sex when I was 8 years old at church from an older kid, and he didn't explain what it was. So I went around church being like, what's sex? What's sex? And I got in so much trouble. All the parents got so mad. And I was like, I didn't learn it. Andrew told me what sex, like he was telling me what the word sex was and never explained it, so I didn't know.
My then 9-year-old, I'll tell you this story. I think it's funny. There was a song and it said the word titties. And she goes, what are titties? And my older daughter was laughing so hard. She goes, no, seriously, what are titties?
Yeah, that's what I did.
I was like, it's another word for like breast. She's like, I've never heard that before. She's like, I've heard boobs, but never titties. I was like, stop saying titties, please. I can't take it anymore.
I was going around church going, what's sex? Everyone's just like, what?
What are you doing, little Ed?
Yeah, and at that time, my mom didn't go to that church. So I was just this like parentless problem of a child, you know? And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Sex. What sex? Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
Good times. But yeah, I'm sure she'll be fine. I feel
Great.
like.
Thank you. That's very reassuring.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. That was very reassuring.
No, I mean, knowing her, she seems to be very aware.
I think the only thing I worry about her is she's one of those kids that is, and I'm not trying to like humble brag at all, but she's really bright and she catches everything. Like she doesn't miss a fucking beat. Things that I just think she wasn't even paying attention to. She's like, I heard that, or she's like, I know. She's like, yeah, you said that 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh shit, did I? You know what I mean? So she's very intuitive and which can work one way or the other, right? So I'm kind of just waiting to see.
Be too smart for your own good.
She does have a little bit of OCD and a little bit of like stranger fear, so that's good. So I'm hoping that'll work. Well, because when we like cross,
she does have a bit of a side eye for sure.
She does. Like when we walk down the street and there's like some person who's like talking to themselves or whatever, she's very much like, nope, we're going around the block. We're gonna go in and so she has that already. So I'm hoping she'll be like too scared shitless to be like, all right, I'm sneaking out of the house. Because also, if she snuck out of the house, my dogs would be like, no, woof.
Yeah.
Woof, woof,
or
where are you
also,
going?
like, we live in a different era, too. Like, we didn't have Ring cameras and cameras all.
Also, your cell phone, it tells me exactly where the fuck you are, which is how that girl got caught in the first place.
Oh, that girl got caught by her parents?
Yeah. She's supposedly grounded for life, but she sneaks out all the time, she says. It's like, anyway.
Yeah, but then like even when that happens, what do you do, right? Like, what are you gonna put bars on her window?
Yes.
And like,
yep, that's a good start. Great call.
Put like a smart
moat
lock.
We're gonna dig a moat around the house, and we're gonna put piranhas in it.
And put like a smart lock on her door, so that every time it locks and unlocks, you have like a
beep,
like a log of it.
Yes, great. What else? What other Mission Impossible shit do I have to do to my daughter? No,
but that restrictive stuff makes them rebel more.
I'm not.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's
like.
That's why you have to let them come to their own decisions, their own conclusions. Because I know for me, the second you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I get the itch. You start getting the like, what do you?
I love that you're telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm about to do?
Yeah.
The opposite of what you just said.
I don't want to eat this rotten egg, but I'm going to.
Yeah, just to spite you, and
you
told me not to. So, touche. Really got you.
I win. Oh, good times. Good times.
Have you heard about the Nickocado Avocado thing?
It's such a mouthful, which that's
I know.
a funny pun.
Can I just call him Nick Avocado?
Nickocado.
Because I don't think Nickocado. So Nickocado Avocado. So it's really too long to say. Is like that YouTuber guy who like gained like 250 pounds. He did this he does those mukbang videos where he eats, like, I've seen them. I am astonished at how much food that guy can eat. Like, it's crazy.
I always felt a little bad, even though it's like tough to, because he's like so arrogant and like abrasive, his personality.
Yes. Agreed.
But I did feel bad because whenever people make fun of mukbangers, they always use his photo.
Yeah.
Because he just was like getting so big.
Right. Well, so he has been making those videos for I don't even know how long, years. And a couple days ago, out of nowhere, he drops this video where he's wearing this panda hat or panda helmet mask, pulls it off, and he's now very svelte. Like, he's very thin. And so then I watch this and I'm like, what's going on? Because I don't really know who this person is. This is in an era of YouTube and things that I just completely missed.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've conducted the most important social experiment of all time. I am a villain. I'm always 2 steps ahead. And I'm like, what did he do? And so then I come to realize that he was banking all these videos. He made, I think, 12 or 13 videos. And then over the course of 2 years would space them out. So it would look like we were watching him in real time, but we were watching old videos. And all the while he was actually losing weight. And he's like, oh, did you see what I did? It's this social experiment. And you guys are all ants and dumb and whatever. And I'm like, what did you prove?
Yo,
I don't get it.
I don't think you know what social experiment
I don't think
means.
so either. Like if you say like
word.
I pranked you all, I'd be like, good prank. You did it. You know, whatever. Because a social experiment is either to prove something or like that you hypothesize or to reinforce an already like
about like the nature of people.
Right. Human nature. Yeah. Which is fine. And that definitely is within the realm of a social experiment. But the reason I questioned it is because he's like, do you see what I've done? It's like, you've just said everything everybody already fucking knows.
Very impressive, but like people lose weight all the time.
I agree, but what is the hypothesis? People on the internet are fucking terrible. People are particularly terrible to fat people, and fat phobic people are the worst, or that people will mindlessly just watch videos to escape reality, or that they will believe whatever they see on the screen. We already know this stuff. This isn't stuff that the reason I questioned it is because like if my daughter did a science experiment on photosynthesis. It was like, I discovered photosynthesis. No, honey. No. Yeah. You didn't discover it. You just did an experiment further reinforcing things that we already know. Yeah. Because that's what he did. He's like, look at what I've done. Do you have any idea how You didn't do anything. We already know this. Like, it was cool that the way you did it, I guess.
But it's not like that. There's like this one guy who gained a whole bunch of weight. He was like pretty fit before.
Like actors do that all the time.
Yeah, no, but he gained a bunch of weight. And then when he gained the weight, this guy literally made so much content. Because then he lost the weight.
Yeah.
And he keeps making these like comparison videos. But it's now been like 2 years since he's lost the weight. And they're like new videos. And you're like, how much content, like before content and ideas did you record?
Well, it must have been a lot because he had to eat all that food to gain the weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then like with Nickocado Avocado, it's more like, it's funny because like there kind of almost was a social experiment like he was. Because like I think it was because of him that the majority of mukbangers and like competitive eaters now, they're all like in shape.
Okay, because they want to not be that way.
Right. You know what I mean? Like if you watched like, Kobayashi?
Yeah, the hot dog guy.
Yeah. So he just had his like retirement like competition during Labor Day. Him and Joey Chestnut, who like took over his, crown, they like finally went at a one-time
head to head,
and Kobayashi
hot
was
dog
like,
battle royale. Yep, like what is this world?
Pretty
Go
much.
on.
But like if you look at Kobayashi, he's like jacked now.
Yeah.
Because he's like huge.
There's
arms,
a lot of protein
like,
in hot dogs, though.
There's a lot of stuff in hot dogs.
Protein is the building blocks of muscle.
Or like as that Liam guy says, there's no such thing as bad foods, which is true. It's just a matter of like how much you're eating, how often you eat it, which like in hot dog eating contest is not healthy.
Well, so what are you saying? You're saying that Nickocado Avocado was like the template of like what not to do if mukbang is what you are.
So theoretically, he like already was the social experiment, but this part isn't. That is the social experiment.
Conversely, people watching Nickocado Avocado is the social experiment.
Yeah, people are like, oh, we have to be really careful about this industry because
there's that other girl on TikTok, Jelly Bean Sweets. Have you seen her? So over the course of a year, she's like this like 19-year-old girl who used to do like dancing videos, and now she does mukbang videos, and she's gained a considerable amount of weight.
Oh, dang.
Like she takes like 2 Taco Bell burritos and covers them in cheese and like just fucking inhales it. Like doesn't even swallow the last bite she had. Like when I watch it, it kind of makes me physically sick. I'm like, I feel like I'm choking on a burrito right now.
That's how I felt watching the Kobayashi Joey.
Yeah, you feel like that lump in your throat. Like
just
breathe,
shoving.
Please, like breathe. Like you're gonna die. Like I don't even understand it. So a lot of people have been comparing her to Nickocado Avocado. It's just too much. It's too many syllables. Anyway, and they're comparing. But so like I don't know. I guess I've never really understood the.
No, he definitely doesn't understand what social experiment means.
Well, that too. But I've never really understood like the allure of mukbang videos. I eat.
I don't know.
To review, that. You do.
Yeah, they're just like so hypnotizing to watch. I love watching RainaisCrazy.
You do?
We talked about her on the show before because of the thing she did for Raygon.
Yeah. Hilarious. So funny.
But yeah, Raina, I've even been saying to Ron, I was like, I think I'm going to reach out to Raina and be
She's here, right? In LA?
Yeah. I was like, I've been thinking about reaching out to Raina and be like, let's do a fun little collaboration, like
don't chat.
I'm gonna 100% lose. I'm not.
Please, I was gonna say
I can eat like crazy, but like Raina is literally crazy.
I've never seen. I was like, she just ate 600 pieces of sushi. I don't understand.
And she makes content all the time. Like,
all the time.
I don't understand.
You'd have to be so like
lucky.
No, well that too.
She could have an insane metabolism.
No, you have to be like super meticulous on your off days.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like I would imagine. I don't think that anybody can metabolize 18,000 calories every 3 days. You know what I mean? Like in that way. Like I don't know.
But sometimes she eats like 5 pounds of stuff, and I'm like.
But also,
where is it?
When she sits and eats, like I don't watch the full video because I just kind of see like what she's gonna eat. And I'm like, okay, but like. To know that she eats a steak that's like this big, doesn't your mouth just get bored? Like, don't you just like, oh my God, so much just steak.
And that's what I mean. She does it a lot too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like a bowl of pho that's like this big. Yeah. By the time you get towards like the last half, it's like, oh, it's so mushy now and it's cold and like that doesn't taste good.
Definitely not pleasure after the first 10% of the food.
Yeah, well, 10% is still a whole. Well, that's a whole actual bowl.
Pound.
Like that's so much.
Like of a 5-pound burrito, that's still like
that's
big
like a baby.
Burrito.
That's so big. 5-pound burrito. It's like 3 tortillas of 3 pounds of beans, and I'm like, I don't know.
But sometimes I just like watching it because I'm like, I feel like I could do that, and I'm like.
Oh my God, that's our next video.
But I think I might do that.
Okay, let's do it. I feel like I could really put away food. I really can.
I really can.
But like once I hit the wall, I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have that push through, you know? Like my younger sister is always like, anytime there's like a food competition, she's like, I could do that. I could easily eat 3 large pizzas. I'm like, bull fucking shit. She's like, easily. She's like, the crust might get in the way. And then she'll start, you know her. She'll start analyzing it. She's like, okay, you have to strategize. First things first, you tear all the crusts off. Eat the crusts first. Then you go for the cheese. I'm like, whatever your plan is, ma'am. Whatever. Yeah. However you want to plan this out, I will support you in every way. I'll be like, no, not yet. You still have 3 crusts. You know, like, I'll cheer you on however
the Joey Chestnut Kobayashi face-off was crazy because, like, you know, typically when they do the hot dogs, they do the thing where they, like, separate the hot dog from the bun. And they soak it and then they just, like, swallow it.
That's so...
Which is gross. Yeah. For this one, they created a rule where they said you can't separate the hot dog from the bun or dunk it in water.
Oh, you can't.
So what they were doing was they were like pouring water in their mouth and then just shoveling it in. And every time they took a bite, it looked like they were going to choke. And Joey Chestnut, I think, in 10 minutes, he ate like 85 hot dogs or something.
You have to have that number wrong. That can't be.
No. It was 80.
Shut the fuck up. 8 hot dogs a minute?
70. 65 or 70. But even then, I was just sitting there and being like, 87 hot dogs. I was like, that's how many hot dogs you're supposed to eat in 10 years. Yeah. Because, you know, they always say, like, you're only supposed to eat, like, 8 hot dogs a year or whatever.
Oh, I don't even think I could eat 8 hot dogs in a year. That's
I can definitely eat 8 hot dogs in a sitting, but that
I definitely don't eat like
that might be my wall, especially with the bun.
In 10 minutes,
it was so gross. It was so gross. They were literally just choking these fucking glizzies down. They were just like,
oh God, just like.
I've done an eating competition once. It was in college, and the prize was to go to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii.
What was the food?
It was wings, but it was like really spicy wings. They use like Carolina Reaper sauce, and I won.
Oh.
I didn't get a chance to go to the semifinals to win because I had like a funeral or something. Like I was really like, dang it, I would have won. But yeah, I won the first round, and basically I had to practice twice like the week before. And basically what I had to learn to do was take the chicken wing, put it in my mouth, strip it, and just swallow.
Oh,
there was no chewing. So it was just like strip, swallow, strip, swallow, strip, swallow. And the worst part about it was that like you couldn't drink water. And then like while eating it, all the Carolina Reaper sauce got all over here. And for 3 minutes, I couldn't wipe it. So afterwards,
oh God,
this
place
burned
so
for
burning.
like an hour.
Oh God.
It just burned.
Why do people do that to themselves?
Mine was for a free trip to Hawaii, which I didn't
That
even
you
win.
didn't win.
And I still have not been to Hawaii to this day.
There are some things in life that I don't have to experience. I don't have to shove a hot dog down my watery throat. It's so gross. The thought of like holding water in my mouth and then no, I don't have to experience that.
Yeah, like some things I wouldn't mind trying to race. Hot dogs are not one of them. Because like,
no, that's okay. That's okay. You guys go do that.
In order to be able to eat 7 to 8 hot dogs a minute, you were just swallowing
them.
It. Oh. And I don't know. That's something that I necessarily need on my resume.
Ooh, yeah. Who does?
But Raina, if you happen to see this, like you saw the last video, I might DM you in between then anyway.
She saw our last video?
Yeah, she commented.
She did?
Yeah.
That's cool.
The last video where we talked about a reference to her ray gun video.
Oh, no way.
She was like, "Oh, thanks for talking about me or something."
Well, I will go watch. I will go watch you guys do that. I'll film it, but she's
gonna kick my ass.
Probably. I have so many questions for her. So many questions.
I think I just want to do it so I can just watch her do it and be like, we were documented. I was here for this.
Yeah, like that's.
But also, it'd be very impressive if I like came pretty close. Notice how none of this conversation involves me winning.
I was gonna say, I don't think you stand a chance of even coming close.
Yeah, that would be
really
delusional.
don't.
But I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna win.
And also, she just is so like unassuming.
Yeah,
she's just like,
I know.
Hi, I'd like to order 800 pieces of chicken.
Yeah,
like,
she seems very sweet. And like recently, she's been making like funny side videos too, because before it was just the eating stuff.
Yeah.
But like she seems like she's really funny.
She does seem like she's really funny. I think
she seems like a really cool person.
I feel like I saw her doing a Jollibee commercial.
Oh yes, she was in a Jollibee commercial.
Strapped to like a lie detector.
Yes,
right?
I saw that too, and I remember
Good for her.
I was like, I don't normally like ads, but I'm gonna like it because good for
I like
you.
her.
Also, that commercial was
money.
hilarious.
It was funny.
Good for you, Raina.
We're rooting for you, Raina.
Yeah, unless we're
competing. What if you could pick a food to compete with her against? What food would it be?
Let's do kimbap. I bet I could eat a shit.
Oh God, kimbap is so good, but it can be so dry. After you have like,
I don't think she's done a kimbap one. Raina, I challenge you to kimbap off.
That was a really dumb thing to do. You really did something dumb.
Or I bet I could still strip wings and swallow them.
Strip and swallow. You just kept saying that. And I was like, this sounds so bad.
That doesn't sound like what you think you're talking about.
That doesn't sound like something we want to see. I don't think so.
I'm hungry now.
I know,
not.
me too.
I can't tell whichever way.
Definitely.
Whichever way it goes. But I might actually be going to Hawaii soon.
Why?
I got invited to the Hawaii International Film Festival.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I might go.
Okay, well, if you go, you have to learn all the respectful ways you can be a welcomed guest.
So do the haka. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's not Hawaiian. I was just trying to sound as ignorant as possible.
Well, like I was supposed to go to a wedding in Hawaii in October, which I can't go to for a number of reasons. But I was just like I was very much like torn about going. And I was like, I don't want to go because I know how so many Native Hawaiian people feel about it. And I know that like the tourism can be such a detriment to the people, but also there are so many people that do rely on tourism as their livelihoods. And so I was like really grappling with that.
It's very
polarizing.
Yes.
And so I was really trying to I was like looking up ways to like, how can I go and be, and they say like, I don't want to call myself a tourist. I want to be a guest, because as a guest, you do observe certain, like you don't go into as a guest in somebody's home and act just some kind of way.
Right.
So you want to be a guest that is respectful and gives back to the people there, especially because we know like, God, with just the way that people like can't even like afford to live there anymore, it's just like really, really fucked up. So I was like,
to water, water on a regular basis. Yeah.
So I wanted to be sure like I could do that in a respectful way. Like I said, I can't go anyway just because, Yeah.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. That too. It's so expensive to go to Hawaii.
It's so expensive.
Like,
and I've never been there, so I didn't realize this, but it's basically traveling across the country.
Yeah.
It's a 6-hour flight from LA.
It's far. I haven't been to Hawaii in, God, the girls were what, 5? Like 6 years?
Wow.
At least. And it was one of my favorite places to go. But then when I, learned that, what I know now, I was like, I can go to the beach elsewhere. But, I don't think people want us to not go. Well, some people want us to not go.
Yes, some people definitely don't want anyone to come for sure. But I feel like a big consensus is also like you can come, you just have to be very
respectful,
cognizant and respectful.
Mindful, demure. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, giving money to local businesses, not going to these big conglomerate hotels, going to, buying local crafts and local everything. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way. So you just have to do a little research before you go.
Being respectful when you're like in the nature part of Hawaii.
Yeah. God, I hate those fucking videos where I see tourists who like intentionally cross over places where like, do not cross this line. They cross the line or they like,
taking rocks and stuff. Taking rocks.
I saw somebody spray painting rocks. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I really hope that curse is true. I really hope you deserve it.
And that's coming from someone who had a company that was based in like spray paint, graffiti, murals.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. You would never.
To nature. Especially Hawaii, where they like believe that those are like
sacred things.
Like sentient beings almost the earth. You know what I mean? Like, no. That's literally like going to someone's house and like spray painting on someone's like family portrait. Like,
you
don't do that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I don't know. I still also feel a little conflicted.
Go back. What are you going? The film festival? Are you entered in, or just as a guest, or like as like a guest. Okay? Yeah. I was like, is your little movie gonna be in a film festival? That's cool.
No. And even if it was, I mean, this one is in the film festival for tonight. That's why it's playing at the Chinese Man.
Oh, okay. Mann Chinese Theatre.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Not the Chinese Man's Theater.
Yeah, Chinese Man Theater. The Mann Chinese Theater. I think I always do that joke. Yeah. Also, I don't know if that name has a weird feeling to it, Why is it named the Chinese Theater?
Because it looks like it's got Chinese.
Or was it owned by Chinese people?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I think it was owned by MGM, wasn't it?
Probably. But yes. So I'm going to go as a guest. Someone invited me.
Okay. When is it?
So we'll see. The beginning of October. I think
that's soon.
Film festival's from like October 2nd to the 11th or something. I'm not going to be there that whole time. No way. Because again, it's expensive.
You've never been, right?
No, ever.
It's so fucking beautiful there. God, it's so gorgeous.
I'm just afraid of the humidity.
Why?
Because I die.
You'll be all right.
I die.
You'll be fine.
It makes me sweaty, and then being sweaty makes me self-conscious, which makes you sweaty. All right. So real quick, we have a write-in. Am I the asshole for locking my niece's cats out of the house? And this triggers the Ashley story, so I'm gonna go say yes.
Yeah. Your house or her house? Well, we'll find out.
Out of either way.
Well, you don't.
Even if you don't live in SoCal and don't have coyotes, there's birds of prey. So much stuff can happen.
But we don't know the reason. That he wrote a very lengthy, there must be some more to the story than that.
I know the title sounds terrible. I love self-awareness, yes. And a lot of people, though they agree with why I did it, they still think it was an asshole move for me to do. I don't even know if this is the type of Am I the Asshole you'd read, but here we go.
Turns out it is.
My teenage niece moved in with me, and we've had a lot of repeat issues. Welcome to teenage life. And what Susie
very timely.
She has no respect or consideration for anyone.
Ooh.
She keeps taking our food, even though she gets her own groceries. That part's a little confusing. Wasting food, letting it go moldy in the fridge, or just never putting leftovers away. Stealing our clothes. And yes, she takes our clothes without asking. I didn't know it was yours, or I don't have this, so I was borrowing yours for a couple of days. Those are the excuses. Taking other things from us, like toiletries, even though she has her own. And we've had to spend so much money replacing and We've had to spend so much money replacing and fixing things around the house she's ruined or broken. She even broke the glass on her bedroom window. She offers to replace things or pay us back and never does. Completely denies saying she would, lies and says the amount you agreed on was less, or tells you that she doesn't have any money, but the next day she'll have money for things she wants. Like the window. She said she'd have to replace it next paycheck because she, quote, only had $13 in her bank account. And then the next day, she bought a plane ticket to go to Mexico for her birthday and concert tickets for her boyfriend's birthday.
Okay, so when you say teenager, like how, I mean,
yeah, it sounds like
I was like thinking like 13,
18.
14 years old. Okay, so she's probably like 18 19.
Or 19, yeah. And this happens a lot where she doesn't have the money to put towards anything unless it's something she wants. She even invited me to do things a few times and then leaves me to pay.
Ew.
Obviously, tension has been building, but the biggest thing, she forgets to close the windows, lock the door, and even forgets to close the door. That's right, she'll leave the house and won't fully close the door behind her. I'll come home from work after nobody has been home for hours to the back door or front door standing wide open and or unlocked. And this has been going on for months, and she's almost 18. There we go. Old enough to close and lock the door. I don't know that's old enough to go to Mexico by herself.
We don't know her life.
Her bedroom window has no screen. It can be opened easily from the outside, and the window is at a perfect level for someone to climb in. She always forgets to close that too, falls asleep with it open, or just doesn't pay attention. And her cats get out, so she intentionally leaves the window or the front door open for them to come back in on their own. Our neighborhood is safe enough to leave the door open when you're home, but purposely leaving it open when you leave for the day so that your cat can come back inside is insane. Friday night, she was getting ready and her cats got out. I came home 3 hours after she left and found her window wide open. Instead of waiting to make sure they got back in, she left the window open. I closed the window, then texted her I didn't care that her cats got out, and you don't leave the window open, and next time she does something like this, she's going to get kicked out because we're all tired of being so careless and inconsiderate, of her being so careless and inconsiderate, and needing to be talked to about daily about the same exact things. She left me on red and didn't come back all weekend. Didn't even reach out to check if her cats came home. I followed the next day saying one was on the porch when I went to leave for the day, but the other wasn't back yet. Still no response. She showed up at the house on Sunday evening to grab clothes and leave again and never bothered to check then either. With one of her cats still missing at that point and her still not seeming to care, it had been extremely stormy at that weekend too. High winds and lots of rain. The cat did come back early Monday morning, very smelly and dirty, but I continued letting her thinking that the cat was missing. As of now, it's been almost 2 weeks. She still hasn't come home and still hasn't made any attempts to make sure her cat is okay, but has apparently keeps crying about how mean I am for purposely locking her cat out, how her cat is missing and I just don't care, and how much she misses them. I don't think I did anything wrong, and a lot of people agree with why I did it, but everyone is still saying it was heartless of me to purposely lock the cats out like that instead of trying to find them or get them back in. The point is, it's her cats. If she genuinely cared, she would be the one staying home and searching for them, and the cats would be better off being rehomed anyways. If it was my cat, I would be canceling plans and calling out of work to find him. She's never even bothered to ask about the cat that she thinks is still missing, which makes people say I'm even more of an asshole to I'm responding to this. I want to know what you guys think.
So she just thinks the cat is missing, but it's not. Because he said it was missing and they came back, but he never told her that it came back.
Not, yeah.
They. Okay.
I kind of agree with the friends, I think.
What?
That I understand why you did it, but regardless if you were trying to teach her a lesson, that cat has a life that it could have lost. Still a life.
But the cat is safe.
It is now, but I meant like the fact that he didn't bother looking for it when it was gone and the storm was coming. So that it was bad enough for her not to look for it because it was windy and stormy. So for you not to do it does kind of feel like not.
So then you're saying that it should have become his responsibility?
Kind of.
Not really.
At least to put in a little effort to find the cat.
Okay, I have to really expand my mind. I'm not a cat person.
I'm not either.
But I know that cats are very savvy on their own. Like my sister's cat can go all around the neighborhood and but they have a little tracker on it or whatever.
But I've also had friends who had indoor outdoor cats and they were eaten by cougars and mountain lions.
Sure. Okay, but the thing is so this person is saying that this 18-year-old adult,
17, almost 18.
Okay, almost adult, lives in their house, disrespectfully uses their things, does not maintain just even the slightest bit of regular like chores, can't even close a fucking door. And this person has taken on a lot of responsibility for somebody that is not even their own child, which I'm sure incurs a lot of financial responsibility, emotional responsibility, all around. So to feel disrespected by somebody who shares my space in such a disrespectful way does make it difficult for me to feel compelled to help them. So I'm trying to like really think about the cat.
Yeah. But for me personally, I think just because the cat is a living thing, I would feel a little guilty to not look. For me personally.
So is the question, is this person acting out of vengeance? I don't say vengeance. I don't think vengeance is the right word.
No, it's not vengeance, but like
you know what I mean?
Similar.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for the need to teach a
lesson.
lesson.
This is what you get.
Right.
This is what you fucking get. Why should you've never done anything for me? Why should I do anything for you?
Yeah, which if it wasn't a living thing, I would understand. But like,
and she like lost her bike.
Yeah, the living part of it is the part that where I'm like, I would have a hard time at least not trying to look for
That is fair, because it's not the cat's fault.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That girl is a fucking hot mess.
I get the reason why they did it 100%. You know what I mean? And like, I would be hard pressed to not say that I also wouldn't have told them that the cat was found. Like that part I get.
Yes.
Because the girl just keeps doubling down.
Well, because she needs to maybe have a little bit of like, have like a response or have like, finally some consequences to her actions. Like, you left the window open, your cat is gone. Your cat will be, you know what I mean? Like teach her a lesson. Like I get that part for sure.
Like I'm also keep thinking about the fact that like
on that.
When I was 18, 19, I went to go live with my aunt and uncle for about a year in Chicago because I got into some trouble. And my mom sent me there, even though I was technically not allowed to leave the state.
Whoopsies.
And I keep thinking like, my aunt and uncle paid for my food. Like I didn't have to like buy my own groceries and stuff. But then I keep thinking, I was like, but I was also very self-aware and like contribute. You know what I mean? Like I worked at Starbucks at the time and I hated coffee and tea.
Yeah.
So I'd give them my free bag of coffee every week.
There are just so many things that she does not do.
Right.
Like, it doesn't sound like not only is she like not like showing gratitude by doing things like giving them the coffee and the espresso maker. Like she's not doing anything. She's actively like being disrespectful to their wishes. And that to me is like.
Because originally I did focus on the fact that like she's buying her own groceries and I was like, that's a little weird, at least from my experience.
But she's not eating her own shit.
Right, yeah. But I think they were only saying it to show just how inconsiderate she was being.
Right. So are you the asshole for what's the question for how you're responding to this?
For locking my niece's cat out of the house. You weren't an angel. I mean, I don't feel like that was the best decision.
I think you took out on the cat what should have been a discussion with her.
Yes.
So I don't think you're an asshole because I understand doing things that maybe out of, anger or, those kinds of emotions. Like
but
I get
locking
that.
The cat out was an asshole move.
But holding the cat accountable for her actions was unfair.
Yeah.
But the cat is, an animal, not a human being. So it's kind of like, but the thing is like, if she doesn't care enough to let, the cat goes out, then why should he?
Because it's still a living
I don't even
thing.
know. I'm sorry.
Because it's still a living being, but like maybe just like rehome the cat. She's clearly not caring for it. I mean, at this point, she's not even home to feed it. So now they're having to pay for the cat food, take responsibility for the cat.
So then you're saying without her knowledge, be like, the cat never came home and then give it to somebody else?
No, not that.
Okay, because I was like, that's...
like, if you're not going to be home to feed your cats on a regular basis, we're going to rehome it.
And the cat doesn't live here anymore. Right.
And if you don't start doing X, Y, and Z as of today, you're also going to get rehomed.
I think that's fair. I think that's an adequate.
I mean, obviously, because she's still technically a minor.
Sure.
Have a conversation with her parents. I'm not really understanding the dynamic
right
with
like why.
Right?
Yeah.
But if they are, available, I would obviously talk to them about that first.
Yeah.
But it seems like she's the type of person who didn't have the foundation of a family.
Well, I find that if any child is anytime living with anybody outside of their parents, there's usually a reason that reason isn't usually a good reason or like a nice reason, you know? So, right. Fair. So maybe that factors into
whether it's
maybe making some concessions about certain things, but I think she's just like really disrespectful and really pushing your boundaries and like really, you know, pushing you to the point where like, what choices do you really have? You know, you can't leave the fucking door open.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't just leave the fucking door open. You know, you're 17 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's
way
irresponsible.
More than old enough.
It's irresponsible and it's dangerous. Like, not only is it like annoying that you leave moldy food in the fridge, like now you're endangering my life and the life of my family.
And we don't know if like, if they have like a family.
Yeah, what if they have like little kids?
Right.
Or like, what if a fucking raccoon goes in the house? I don't want to deal with that either.
Then bites you and now you have rabies.
Now I have rabies.
You're gonna
Thanks
die.
a lot.
Yeah.
You know what happens if you are suspected of possibly having rabies? They have to give you like 100 shots in your stomach.
If you even survive.
Well, right. But if you don't even know if you have rabies or not, because they can't let it like become rabies in your body. Yeah. My niece was attacked by 3 chihuahuas. I know it sounds really crazy, right? She was walking through a parking lot and 3 just like chihuahuas came out of nowhere and attacked her. And she was like, I was like, why didn't you kick them? She's like, because they're little puppies. I'm like, but they fucking bit you. Like, what the fuck? So then she had to go and they didn't know if she had rabies or not. And she had to get like a series of shots in her stomach. And she was like, I really hated that.
They couldn't test to see if she got rabies first. It was
I can't remember why. I feel like, I think it was just like, we don't know if you have it, but like if you have rabies and we let it become like active then you can die.
It's lethal.
So we have to, deal with it. So I was like, see, I told you should have kicked those fucking chihuahuas. Like, listen, I'm an animal lover through and through, but if you're going to bite me and then I have to go to the fucking hospital and get rabies shots, no, you're getting kicked, at least off of me. Like,
sometimes I go to the park and like people have off-leash dogs.
Yeah.
And they just come running up and they have no recall and they're like, clearly shouldn't be off-leash because they're like aggressive and stuff. I oftentimes have to like pick up Cole and or Archie, depending on who I'm with. And then I yell, if you don't recall your dogs, I am going to punt them away from us. Like,
I will kick your fucking dog. Absolutely no problem with that.
I don't want to, but if it comes to my dog being attacked and because he's a pit bull, he's going to get punched. No, I'm going to punt your dog.
Yeah, your dog gets kicked in the face. Sorry.
I'm not going to kill it, but I am going to get it away from us. Yeah.
But could you imagine?
Even if you like lobbied it with your foot, like I'm not gonna like aggressively kick a dog.
Right. Lobbed it.
Yeah, like
you don't lobby a dog.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I meant, lob.
But could you imagine if you're just like walking and like this angry pack of like 3 little chihuahuas like came out of nowhere and just like fucking attacking you?
Honestly, I'd probably just go,
She did. And she was doing volunteer work. And so she had all these like supplies in her hands. So she's just like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on?
I wouldn't know what to do either.
So
I would feel bad kicking
just let them
dogs.
Bite her.
Yeah.
Sweet girl. She's such a sweetheart.
Just hope that I'm wearing jeans. And
I do.
Hope that
she was wearing shorts.
Oh no.
She was wearing shorts.
Were the bite marks really bad?
Yeah, they broke the skin.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why she had to get fucking rabies shots.
Chihuahuas and the small dogs do have the highest bite rate.
Incidents. Yeah, of course. Because they have something to prove. They got a fucking chip on their shoulder.
And because a lot of times they're coddled.
Right, Archie? Because you look like a baby, people treat you like a baby. You're like, I'm not a baby. I'm very angry. I'm a very strong dog.
Okay, I do treat him like a baby, but not as much as everyone else does with small dogs.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I'm so tired.
But yeah, not really an asshole, but maybe you could have
you could have done better. You could have done better, but we can all do better. So I get it.
Not that I have any kids or have any experience whatsoever, but from having been a rebellious kid, maybe like instead of reacting to what she's done, set ground rules and expectations and then follow through.
I feel like maybe they're beyond that because she clearly doesn't give a fuck.
Because that's what I was about to say earlier is like a lot of the stuff that she went through, they're like the kind of stuff that like you're not going to learn until you're on your own.
Like closing a door.
Closing the door, like understanding how much food waste impacts your budget.
Okay, no. I'm sorry. Closing a door is not something you have to be on your own to learn.
No, you're right. No, but I'm saying in her as far gone as she is. Like the only way she's going to learn is to be on her own and realize the impact of her carelessness.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, once you realize what it's like to have your house robbed and realize that, like, oh, you can't afford to have, like, your food go moldy every day.
You can't afford to go to Mexico because you have bills to pay.
Right, exactly.
And
like,
because
that's what's going to make her learn. So, unfortunately, it kind of does seem like you have to kick her out.
Sorry.
Depending on legalities of age, you know, because she is 17.
Or, like, the circumstances is why she's there.
Yeah.
All right.
But
I want to be done now.
With that, we want to thank you for joining us on another episode. You could always find us on our socials. Sujio1
on TikTok and Instagram.
I'm at Sketch with the J. The little one off screen is at Archie and Colt on Instagram. And you can find the podcast at One in the Shibal on Instagram and TikTok. That's SHIBAL. If you would like to write in with any stories, advice, questions, whatever, just say hi. We love that. Write us in at What in the Shibal. That's SHIBAL at gmail.com. If you want to help us keep this podcast sustainable, think about joining our Patreon. We do have some exclusive clips on there. We're going to be better about it moving forward. We're going to be better.
Maybe we'll make Ed do an eating challenge on the next Patreon video.
Or like at least the behind the scenes.
Yeah, that too.
Of the aftermath. Like where
you're writhing around in pain with like your pants button open, shitting your pants.
Well, now that sounds creepy. But yes, initially it sounded funny in my head. But think about joining our Patreon. If you're listening to the podcast, know that there is a video version available on YouTube. But if you're already watching us, make sure you like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell.
Ding.
La, la, la. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. Okay,
bye.
bye.